2025 is about to come to an end. As many people who have lost their job in 2025 are going to make me say this to you. Do not be hunting for a job in 2026. But if you are still insistent on hunting on a job in 2026, I would request you to not do it like you used to do it in 2023. We will instead look at some better ways and some ways that can actually get through the AI processors of today and actually get you hired in 2026. In this video, I'm going to share insights as a software engineer who has previously applied for jobs everywhere in the world, and as a recruiter as well, because at my company, That Nerd Studio, we are continuously hiring for technical people, software engineers and developers, and that gives me some insights to share with you guys on how we actually do it and how you can actually get past the system. So stay till the end of this video and you would have a cheat sheet of how to actually land a job in 2026. So in this era, around this time, you would see most of the companies are using just AI to do their recruiting for them. As soon as you submit your resume is processed by an AI resume processor. Your resume is ranked based on your skill set, based on your communication skills, based on how well it's done, based on the description that you have provided for yourself in your resume. It's called bio usually, right? Based on your experience, and it's categorized based on all of those things. There are tags that are placed on your resume based on everything that you've written there. So let's say a company has posted a job for a MERN stack developer with 4 years of experience, and you send your resume where 3 years of experience is listed and 4th year is not. What AI is going to do, it's going to flag your resume as not meeting the minimum experience requirements, which means your resume has just stayed behind before even getting to a human. Similarly, if the JD required you to have MERN stack plus next and you only have listed MERN stack in your skill set, the JD is going to not match to the resume that you have provided, and hence your resume will be flagged as not meeting the minimum skill requirements. Similarly, all other things are rated and flagged the same way, and then your resume is going to rank according to your number of flags. For example, if you don't meet the experience requirement, if you don't meet the skill requirement, if you don't meet the communication or other requirements, and then your resume will be at the bottom. If somebody is meeting all of these requirements, their resume will be at the top. So make sure whenever you are sending out your resume to a company, it's up to date. It has all of your skill sets listed. It has all of your experiences listed in a chronological order. Most people don't even know what a chronological order is, but you have to list your most recent experience at the top and then the least recent ones. Then for technical candidates, the next immediate step usually would be a coding assessment, which previously used to be assessed by humans. It's not the case anymore. People do not assess your technical assessments. You get a technical assessment, for example, from CoderByte or from HackerRank or things like these. The assessments that you get and submit are, for the most part, are not ranked by humans. They are ranked by AI. Once again, AI is going to check for certain factors in your code. It's going to check its readability, it's going to check its minimalism, it's going to check its scalability, and all other factors that should be present in a good code. It's going to check all of those there, and then it's also going to check if it's functional or not, if it delivers the result that is expected of it. And then based on all of these small things, AI is going to rank your code, and based on that ranking, you can be moved forward to the third step, which is usually a technical interview. In some companies that I know of, not within Pakistan but outside of Pakistan, companies are also having AI do their technical interviews for them. So you would go into an interview and AI would throw some technical questions at you one by one, and it would assess your answers the same way it has been assessing your technical assessment and before that your resume. So the question arises, how are you even supposed to get through that system where everything is being assessed by AI, a hard-coded system, right? And where humans are not even judging you anymore for your technical skills. Companies are actually changing the way they used to hire developers as well, like the kind of developers that they used to hire and the type of jobs that they actually used to hire for. For example, developers were previously hired on an on-site position. Working from home or working from anywhere else used to be an out-of-question thing. But thanks to COVID, since after COVID, we have seen a surge in remote jobs, and now developers are much more comfortable working from their home than in an on-site setting, which is why most companies prefer providing remote options to developers and software engineers. Moreover, companies do not look for breadth-wise developers anymore. Previously, startups actually used to look for developers who have a broader skill set instead of a deeper one. But there's also been a shift in the demand of the technical skill set of software engineers and developers. Now companies are more leaning towards T-shaped developers. T-shaped developers are the developers who have breadth and who also have depth. So they have a broader skill set and they also have one skill set with complete depth. So that is one thing that you should actually be looking at if you are a breadth first developer. So you see, based on all of these things, getting a job in 2026 is an entirely different game. Universities and educational institutes are producing software engineers and developers and computer scientists out in the market, whereas the companies that currently had them hired are also firing them, and there is a huge pool of software developers and engineers all out there who need to get hired and who want to get hired, but there are not enough jobs for them to take. Why? Because most of their jobs are taken over by AI, just like the recruiter's job has been taken over by AI, like I told you previously. So before this entire rise of AI, throughout your interview process, you had to meet a lot of people, right? And you would get to talk to them, and they would assess you for more than these things. They would assess you for more than your code. They would assess you for more than your problem solving skills. They would assess you for your potential and for what you can do for them in the future, provided the necessary training, etc. But now it's strictly what you can do for the company that's going to get you hired. I know it's a hurtful thing to hear, but it is what it is. So after getting to know all of this, if you are still insistent on getting a job as a software developer, here are some things that you must have. Your tech stack is not as important as you think. It does not matter if you are a MERN stack engineer. It does not matter if you are a Python engineer. It does not matter if you're a C++ engineer, right? The first and the foremost thing a company is going to look for in you is going to be your problem solving ability. How good a problem solver you are. I have met many engineers throughout my career, and I'm very sad to say that very few of them were actually good at problem solving. And that's where the gap is, right? Most engineers, they learn the tech stack. They would go through a lot of tutorials one after another, and they would start making projects and this and that, all redundant projects, card apps and this and that. Then they end up looking for a job where the market is already saturated by people who are excellent at problem solving. The first thing that you need to focus on is your problem solving ability. Now, how can you fix your problem solving ability? I'll tell you how I used to do it and how I still do it. I solve challenges. LeetCode is my favorite platform, HackerRank is another, eDabit is another, and I use all of these platforms to solve coding problems. The best thing about these platforms is that there are other developers as well who have solved these problems, and if you are unable to solve it, you can just go ahead and check out the solution from other developers. One more thing to spice it up a notch that you can do is you can time your problem. For example, if you have received a problem on LeetCode, instead of solving it in your own time, what you can do is you can fix a time for the problem. Let's say I'm going to solve it in 30 minutes and test yourself if you can solve that problem in 30 minutes. If you want to become like a Hulk programmer, a Hulk problem solver, I would suggest you to do as many of these challenges as you can in as little time as possible. Then there are other core skills as a software developer. For example, data structures, for example, analysis of algorithms, for example, system design, for example, system architecture, for example, database architecture. These are some of the core skills that a company is looking for when they are hiring a software developer or an engineer. But these are not all. There are some more skills, the soft skills as they are called. Your communication skill, your problem analysis skill, your conflict analysis skill, your conflict resolution skill, your stakeholder handling skill, your documentation skill. These are all the skills that are not remotely related to your technical skills and technical capability, but they are as important as your technical skills. Let's say you are an extremely good coder, but if you are not able to explain your code to somebody else, or if you are not able to understand the problem that is coming from a layman and convert it into functional requirements and then convert those functional requirements into proper features, what use is your technical skill and technical ability? Nothing, right? So when applying for jobs in 2026, these are the core things that you need as a software developer, that you must have as a software developer. Then comes some bonus skills as cherry on the top. Let's say you are a MERN stack developer, but you don't have all those basic skills that we talked about previously. It's not going to matter if you have MERN stack or not, right? But let's say you have learned MERN stack and you have all those foundational skills that we previously talked about, and in your job, then you have to switch on to another tech stack. It won't be a problem for you. Why? Because you already have all of the fundamental skills that you need. And on top of those fundamental skills, you can place any programming language, any framework, any tech stack that is needed, right? right? That is the power of a software engineer, a true software engineer. A true software engineer is not bound to a tech stack. They can move to any tech stack as needed, but at the same time, they might have one stack in which they are unbeatable. On top of that also comes your usage of AI tools. How good can you use AI tools? How often do you use them? And what use actually do you make out of your AI tools is also an important question. You must not only be using your AI tools to, write code for you, but you can also use your AI tools to plan code for you, to plan your architecture and things like that. Then some companies also prefer an understanding of cloud platforms and CI/CD pipelines and deployment setups as well. These are all the things that are a bonus, a cherry on top. If you have the basic foundational skills that we previously talked about, that makes you as good as any developer or any software engineer out there. If you have the things of the bonus, one or more or all, you are one of the star developers out there, and hunting a job for you might not be a problem. Now we'll move forward to how well you understand how to actually present yourself as a software developer. So you learned a tech stack and you have mastered all of those foundational skills. Now what you want to do is you want to build a portfolio. You are going to get some pet projects, ask ChatGPT for it, and always go one step higher than what you can do. Challenge yourself at your capability. For example, if you have learned MERN stack and you are going to make a book inventory as an app, as a project of MERN stack, add an additional feature to it, something that uses AI. For example, making a search based on AI, or a feature like where people can see a summary of the book when they search for it. Challenging yourself with doing things that you haven't done already or that you don't know about already is going to get you farther quicker. So you start with making some projects, making some apps based on your tech stack, based on your skill set. In those projects of yours, what you have to do is you have to showcase all of your skills that you previously learned. Those can be your technical skills. You can show off your data structures, right? How good you are at it. You can show off your analysis of algorithms, right? How good you are at that. And you can also show your code readability by making the code very readable, using comments, using better naming conventions, and then making that library public. So whenever a recruiter is looking at your profile on GitHub, they can see how good you are at writing code. Then at the same time, you can also show off your non-technical skills as well. For example, you can show off your documentation skills by creating a good README for that repository. Then you can create a software requirements documentation and things like that on top of the README, and add those as well to your GitHub repository, which is going to get you an extra bit of attention. So you've built a portfolio and now you're all set and ready to go out in the market. Now what you're going to do is you are going to network with people like yourself. In every city, everywhere, in every major city at least, there are tech events happening every now and then, and I would suggest you to go attend those, must attend those. Networking means lots and lots of opportunities. Your network is going to bring you more opportunities, may it be in terms of jobs, may it be in terms of projects or anything else. Your network is going to be the biggest source of your income. So go and network a lot at such events. I actually have an upcoming event in Islamabad of the same sort. It's called Tech Baithak. It's happening on 22nd November, where all the developers and software engineers are coming all over from Islamabad, Rawalpindi, and we will be having a mini hackathon where developers can actually showcase their skill and win cash prizes for it, as well as internships. And then we have a meet and greet followed by the hackathon, where we'll get to talk about the future of tech, the future of jobs in tech, and the future of startups and things like that. So if you are somebody from Islamabad, Rawalpindi watching this video right now, I would definitely suggest you to join us for that event. You can definitely check out the details for this event on my Instagram. So now you've prepared your skill set, you have prepared your portfolio, you are now networking as well. The next immediate step would be to do your resume. Your resume, first of all, it should always be up to date when you send it to an employer. Secondly, do not make a generic resume and send it over to all the job dimensions. So for example, if you are a full stack software engineer and you are also applying for specific backend jobs and specific front-end jobs, you do not want to make a full stack developer general resume and send it over to a front-end developer's jobs or send it over to a backend developer jobs. Why? Because remember when we talked about AI assessing your resume, it's going to flag you as not matching the main skill set and your resume will remain unread. So make very specific resumes to specific jobs and always target jobs. Do not apply to every job out there. Find out the one that closely resonates to you and your skill set and apply only to those jobs that are very closely relevant to you. Applying to irrelevant jobs or applying to jobs that you are not so very good at would be a waste of time, because even if you got hired for those jobs, you would not be as good at it as the company expects you to be, and then at the end of it, you would find yourself frustrated, or the company would find themselves frustrated, and that just doesn't work out. Secondly, also keep in mind that your resume is being reviewed on the basis of all of those things that you write in there, your skills, your experiences, your education, right? Your bio. So write all of these things to the best of your ability and avoid using any AI while making your resume. Write it yourself, craft it with emotion, and that is actually visible in your resume when somebody sees it from a human eye. You also don't want your resume to just only be about your skills, right? What can you bring to the table for the company other than your skills? And that is the results that you can bring for them. For example, if you are a software engineer, or if you're a full stack engineer and you have previously worked at this XYZ company and you have generated, let's say, $1 million for this company in a span of 1 year while your salary was this. So that based on your salary, the return on investment the company gets is what you can write in your resume. That's an addition on top. That's you telling the recruiter that you know how the game works, and that's actually a plus point as well. Now your resume is all good, your portfolio is all good, your skill set is all good. Now you have to prove it to the company that you can do it for them. And how can you prove it to the company? By going through their interview process and by making sure that you ace them. Interview process are mostly lead code problems. Solving lead code problems is a skill itself, and most companies regard it as a very high valued skill. So I would suggest that you go to lead code today and start solving some problems. On top of that, everything that you had previously learned in step 1 would come into play in your interviews. The data structures you practiced, the code readability that you practiced, the documentation that you practiced, the communication skills that you practiced, the stakeholder handling that you practiced, and all of those things combined are going to prove in your interviews that you are the engineer that the company is looking for. Just make sure to tap onto all of these things once before you get into the actual interview. Prepare your brain for the interview, for whatever's coming up next. To do this, there are some applications that actually allow you to do mock interviews now. I will list some of these down in the description and in the video as well. You can check them out. These mock interviews are actually very close to actual interviews and will help you quite a lot in preparing your interviews. And once you have aced the technical and the soft skills interview, you are as good as hired. So this is your complete process of getting a job in 2026. You can compile all of these things down into your everyday routine. For example, you can keep 1 hour for your coding, let's say 30 minutes for your networking, and then, project updates on for like 2 hours or so, and keep all of these things in your everyday routine to have you remember them when you go into an interview. I know AI helps us remove repetition, but I'll tell you, repetition is good when you have to remember things. So that's about it. If you are in Islamabad, join us on Tech Baithak for more of these tips and tricks, and I'll see you in the next video. Now, if you found this video interesting, here's another video that I think you might like, and feel free to subscribe to my channel because that's how you can support me. Thank you so much